If you've gone through an entire provider's test prep program, start to finish, and you've dumped hundreds of hours into your prep and your score is still not where you want it to be, or it hasn't moved at all, I completely feel your pain. That's exactly what happened to me back in the day. I'm not going to name any names, but I went through an entire program of study, and not only did my score not go up, it actually went down, and I have nothing but success in my academic past. So you can imagine how that felt. I want to help you fix that real quick. So the first thing that you want to look at is, what is your time management like during the exam? One of the big places where a lot of test prep providers fall down is helping you gauge your time properly during an actual practice test. They might have had you timing individual questions or maybe even doing time sets, but they may not have helped you develop a timing strategy that's good enough for you to be able to make it all the way to the end of the section with ample time. If that's something you need help with, then check out our podcast episode called GMAT Quant, What Everyone Should Know, and I'll help you develop your time strategy. The second thing that might be happening if you've gone through a whole program of study and you haven't seen the results you want is that you're missing questions you know under pressure. There's a lot of things that can cause that to happen. Sometimes it's just the pure stress of the exam. Sometimes it's not being prepared enough, having taken enough practice exams. And sometimes you just haven't conditioned yourself to actually do the right things that make sure that you get credit for everything you know during the test. Each of those things has a different solution to the problem. So if you're in that situation, I'd definitely recommend reaching out to us, and we can recommend free or paid resources depending on your budget that might help with that. But just so that I'm not leaving you hanging right now, if you're having big time anxiety issues, you definitely want to get help from a professional who specializes in test anxiety. Reach out to us because that industry is constantly changing if you need a recommendation. If you haven't practiced enough and that's why you're missing questions you know how to do, that's a pretty simple fix. You just need to take probably 2 or 3 more practice exams and start to reflect on why you're missing the questions that you know how to do and build up some new habits to keep that from happening on future exams. If you're in the third boat, which is you haven't conditioned yourself to avoid making those mistakes under pressure, but it's not really the stress of the exam that's getting to you, like you don't have sweaty palms or an upset stomach and you don't need professional help dealing with that anxiety, or you just don't have the financial resources to engage with a professional, then the next best thing is to audit all the practice questions you've done, make a list of all the questions that you missed even though you knew how to do them, and start to make a count of how many did I misread, how many were because of my scratch work and what I did or didn't write down, and how many were because I lost focus and my mind drifted to something else. Once you have the count of each of those 3 areas, pick the top one and start to experiment with new habits on future problems to keep you from missing those. Use the official guide for GMAT review, do timed sets of 10 questions each, and focus on implementing your new habit. Now, the third reason that a lot of people's scores don't move, even though they've gone through an entire prep provider's program, is they just had the wrong study strategy from the beginning. Either the program was too generic for them, or it just wasn't a fit for their personal learning style. If you're in that boat and you have a reference for a great private GMAT tutor, I would definitely take that reference and at the least do a quick intro call with that person and see if you think they can help you solve those problems. If you're not in a position to do that, or you don't really have a reference, feel free to reach out to us and/or click the link in our bio and book a free call with us, and we'll be happy to talk through your study strategy, talk about what's going well, what's not going so well, and see if we might be a fit to work together. If we're not, we'll definitely recommend someone who's going to be a better fit for you. So either way, you'll leave that call with a ton of value and a crystal clear path about how to move forward. This is a huge problem. Like I said, I went through it myself. This is why I started TGS in the first place. And I want you to know that if you're in this position, there's definitely hope. You can definitely do it. You just need to shift gears and be intelligent about how you change things going forward. Like I said, reach out to us if you want help with that. Otherwise, make your changes and please let me know how it goes.